home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he scored!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Josh Hennig.
It's a 3rd and 16 for the Chiefs, and a shotgun snap from their own 24, rolling out of the pocket. Mahomes lines up. It's intercepted at the 40, and picked off by DeGene, who comes to the near side, the 30. Got it back at the 20, breaks the tackle, the 10, the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown! Eagles have got a pick six. It's Cooper DeGene. A 37-yard pick six of Patrick Mahomes. From the Kansas City 46, Eagles take over 1st and 10. The shotgun snap, the fake handoff, and Hurts drops back 5, winds up, long arching pass, down the middle. It's caught over the shoulder in the end zone. Touchdown, Smith. And that may make it insurmountable. 46-yard touchdown strike. 33-0 Eagles. Wow. Kick it again to an E, and that's it. The clock will continue to go down from 20 seconds. So if Super Bowl 52 was framed as the Philly special, this has got to be Eagle voodoo here in New Orleans as they found the magic spell on the 2-time defending champion Chiefs, stopping them with an incredible performance.
Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl 59 champions. There was a minority of us who believed in the Philadelphia Eagles, but there was enough of us that apparently the New Orleans Superdome felt more like Philadelphia than a neutral site field as Jalen Hurts wins Super Bowl MVP, although I think somebody else should have gotten the MVP. We'll get to that in just a bit. Philadelphia Eagles, how are they champions? Why are they champions? I mean, we were told for 2 weeks that, yeah, but the Chiefs got Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo and Patrick Mahomes. But none of those guys had an answer in the game last night. We were told for the longest time that it didn't matter that the Eagles had the best team. But Jalen Hurts, as Ryan Clark explained this morning on First Take, he is the man with the answers.
We already know that Andy Reid is a Hall of Fame head coach, one of the greatest to ever do it. We were starting to put him in the conversation with the one Bill Belichick. And so not only is Patrick Mahomes standing across the field from Jalen Hurts, but so is Andy Reid. And they had no answers for him. Even with everything being on his right arm, everything being on his legs, they couldn't figure out a way to contain him. And to me, I get it. He's never going to have the gaudy passing stats.
Nope.
But he seems to always have an answer.
He always seems to have an answer. How are you guys feeling about the Eagles being Super Bowl champions? 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of CIL. Because I know some of you out there were like me, and you were picking the Eagles. You were not following the Ric Flair rules. You didn't care the Chiefs were the man. You walked into Sunday night at first of all, the kickoff is way later than expected. I mean, 6:42 kickoff. I mean, did we really need to have all that hoopla before the game? I mean, listen, I understand you wanted to honor the victims that happened at the terrorist attack in New Orleans, but you could have done it for 6:30, right? Yeah, I know you wanted to get in God Bless America and the national anthem and everything, but it's like, come on, guys, like, let's play the game. People got to go to bed at some point. I saw where I was last night, people literally left early because they had to take their kids home because kids got school in the morning. I mean, come on. Come on, NFL, get moved with the game. But there were some of us who walked into the game last night, and we didn't go by the Ric Flair rules. We believed that the Philadelphia Eagles were more like Randy Orton, the legend killer, and boy, oh boy, were we rewarded in kind last night. And before I get to your text, I see a bunch of you already chiming in. Dan in EHT, Shaner in, I have no idea where you are, bro. I'm just going to say Shaner is chiming in because I don't even know what you just said to me. Is Joey D in Ventnor City, Johnny G in Ocean City. I'm going to get all your texts in just a minute, 609-403-0973. But a couple quick hitters about the game last night that I got to get off my chest. Number one, the MVP last night, they should have broken the rules. The MVP last night was Vic Fangio. This man, like the entire Jace Kelsey, the whole team, right? Fangio was one of the people who was greatly doubted, put down, ignored, cast aside. Vic Fangio was told after the Dolphins, he left Miami, he's not a good coach. He can't identify with young players. Young guys don't want to listen to him. And it all ended up being not true. Vic Fangio did an amazing job with his defense. We were told for weeks, well, he's 0-8 against the Chiefs. And I broke it down. I told you guys right here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Josh Hennig live from the Ocean Casino Resort Studios of Atlantic City. I told you guys for weeks that the 0-8 that Fangio was against Pat Mahomes was a Fugazi stat. I told you guys for weeks, and you saw why on Sunday. Vic Fangio had the game plan of a lifetime. We always talk about in football history how Steve Spagnuolo had an amazing game plan what was almost 20 years ago when the Giants upset the Patriots in the Super Bowl. We talk about how the Washington then Redskins, now Commanders, had an amazing game plan when they put Doug Williams in as starter in that Super Bowl in the late 1980s, and they won the championship. Football history is full of great game planning, strategies. Monty Kiffin for the Tampa Bay Bucks against the high-powered Raiders offense 22 years ago, 23 years ago. But last night needs to go in the Hall of Fame. Whatever Fangio took his notes on, whatever his call sheet was, it's got to go in Canton. They found a way to not just pressure Patrick Mahomes, but they brought kryptonite to Superman's house and they told him, come out and play. Because they made Mahomes look like Rex Grossman. They made Patrick Mahomes look like fill in the blank below average quarterback you can name. Mitch Trubisky. He made him look like anybody you want to bring up because they got him shook last night. To me, Vic Fangio deserves tons of credit for last night. He's number one on my list. Number two is Nick Sirianni. Howie Roseman said this last night as the confetti was just finishing falling after Super Bowl 59. He said this to John Clark of NBC Sports Philadelphia.
I'm incredibly proud of Coach Sirianni, what he goes through, and I work with him every day, and he's a special guy, and he has this saying, you can't be great without the greatness of others, and I think that's our team, that saying. Certainly, I can't play, I can't call the plays, so I can't be a world champion unless those guys execute, and so I think this is for our city. When you do it once, sometimes people think it's a fluke. When you do it twice, they can't take it away from you, brother.
Listen, it's 100% true what Howie said. And I believe there's a part of Howie that might take more pride in this championship than the last one, because the Eagles organization was heavily ridiculed for the firing of Doug Peterson after the 2020 season. And it was something that I feel like I have spent the last 5 years trying to explain to people. And I think there's a majority of the fan base that still doesn't understand why Doug Peterson was fired and why Nick Sirianni was hired, consequently. And then why he wasn't fired after last season. And I think that there's a part of Howie Roseman's organization that looks at Sirianni and feels like they have been vindicated, that they have been, basically they have been, given the ultimate, you guys did good, and here's the evidence. Because there were a lot of people who had questions about why Nick Sirianni, how Nick Sirianni, and the how the Eagles won the championship was because of Vic Fangio. But the why Philadelphia Eagles won Super Bowl 59 is Nick Sirianni. Because in spite of all obstacles, in spite of the entire world telling Fangio he doesn't still got it, Nick Sirianni that he should be fired, and Jalen Hurts that he is not a championship quarterback, the Philadelphia Eagles as a whole proved to the entire world that they are not just the champs, but they showcased historically one of the most dominant performances in Super Bowl history. This goes down with the Seattle Seahawks beatdown of the Denver Broncos a decade ago. This goes down on the list with the Baltimore Ravens' domination of the New York Giants 25 years ago. This goes on the list with the 49ers destroying the Denver Broncos. What was it, 89, when Joe Montana had that crazy game and John Elway looked horrible? This is going to go down as one of the most dominant performances in the biggest game of all time. And the Philadelphia Eagles now have taken down two of the greats. They beat the unbeatable Mahomes and they beat the unbeatable Tom Brady, because sometimes you just got to have faith in each other, in your process, and the Eagles stuck to their guns and they did it and they won it their way. All right. I want to hear from you guys. I'm going to get your text throughout the hour, but let's start off with Johnny G in Ocean City at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of CIL. Johnny G says, hallelujah, Super Bowl champion Eagles. I love the whole game and the domination of the Chiefs, but my best moment was when Xavier Worthy scored the late touchdown, the 2-point conversion that could have put it up, and it won me $1,000 in the block office poll. Oh, my goodness. He also says Kendrick Lamar was horrible. He says he likes the beats, not the music. Go Birds, Johnny G in Ocean City. I got to say, social media seemed to be divided down the middle, right? Half of social media loved the halftime show. The other half of it said it was trash. So I read into that what you will, right? Joey D in Ventnor chimes in. Ventnor City says, Super Bowl champions beat down. It wasn't even close. These Eagles are legends forever, says Joey D in Ventnor. Joey D, cheers to you. Shaner chimes in. How pumped are you, Josh, after this? Has to be a lifetime experience for you as a broadcaster fan. I'm so happy for all Eagle fans that can't stop smiling. There is now hello or goodbye anymore. Everywhere you go, it's go Birds. The entire area is smiling. I'm elated. That defense is the MVP. And my own defense, I did call a blowout. Shaner chiming in. Shaner, you're 100% right. You know, the defense is the MVP in many ways. You're right. Everyone is saying go Birds. You know, it's wild because you bring up the broadcaster part. And I wasn't going to hit on this until later, but Shaner, you kind of opened the door for me to say this. I genuinely am in a very blessed position because I have now worked at 97.3. I'm entering my 9th year here working at 97.3 ESPN here in South Jersey. And my entire time here, the Eagles have won championships. 2017, now 2024. You know, before I came to work here, the only championship that I saw in my lifetime was the 2008 Phillies. I saw the 2004 Eagles lose. I saw the 2001 Sixers lose. I saw the 97 Flyers lose. I saw the 93 Phillies lose. My lifetime did not see a championship until 2008 Phillies. And, you know, when you are in your early 20s, the mid-20s, when you see your first championship, you don't think you're going to see anything that amazing again. And as I've now been able to work in this business in sports talk radio, and I have seen the team that I grew up watching win 2 championships, it is a surreal feeling. And, you know, there's a part of me that just wants to just scream up and down like the rest of you, but there's another part of me that says, I saw this. Maybe not literally domination, but I picked the Eagles to beat the Patriots 7 years ago. I picked the Eagles to beat the Chiefs this past weekend. So I feel like it's a duality. It's a joy to see the team that you grew up watching win a championship, but there's another duality where as an analyst and as a broadcaster, you also feel vindicated. And I know there's a lot of people in this business who, you know, you don't always root for a team because you want to stay impartial, but there's a part of you that wants to root to be right. Because you put in a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of hours watching tape and checking stats and researching that puts you in a position to make that pick on a football Friday and on a Super Sunday, right? You know, I'm sitting there with Billy Schweim and the guys in the locker room. You know, I was here on all week last week in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios here on 97.3 ESPN. So thank you, Shaner, for bringing that up. I do appreciate all of you texting in. Coming up on our side, quick timeout. There is only 2 other men that I know. Only 2. Me and 2 others. So there's 3 of us that I know of that predicted Jalen Hurts would be a franchise quarterback. One of those 3 men is me, and the other one is coming up next here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. with Unsportsmanlike on 97.3 ESPN with Evan Cohen, Super Bowl champion Chris Canty, and Michelle Small.
Can't wake up without it.
Brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
Experience presidential luxury at BMW of Atlantic City. This President's Day, drive home in the dynamic 2025 BMW 330i xDrive for $599 per month with $54.99 due at signing. Or choose the versatile X3 30i xDrive at $699 per month with $52.99 due at signing. Visit BMW of Atlantic City for exceptional President's Day savings on their entire lineup. BMW of Atlantic City, the ultimate driving machine. 36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, plus tax, title, license, and fees. See dealer for details.
Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 16, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
This Valentine's Day, forget the flowers and chocolates. Give her the gift she really wants, relaxation. Sea Spa Sanctuary at Tropicana is the perfect way to say, I love you. Treat her to the Co-Ed Element Sanctuary, a jacuzzi, dry sauna, and steam room. And for the ultimate indulgence, book her a chocolate massage or facial. It's sweet, luxurious, and calorie-free. Need an extra special touch? Grab a Sea Spa Sanctuary gift card and let her choose her perfect escape. Book now at Sea Spa Sanctuary at Tropicana.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a walk-up with central air and a skylight, and you found it. Now, every Friday night, you get to fall asleep to the sound of your downstairs neighbors' dance parties. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. Super Bowl 59, the Eagles win the second title in franchise history Sunday, beating Kansas City 40-22. The defense was phenomenal, held the Chiefs to 23 total yards in the first half. They forced 3 turnovers, had 2 interceptions of Patrick Mahomes. Cooper DeJean returning one for a touchdown. The MVP, Jalen Hurts, threw 2 touchdowns and ran for another. NBA, the Sixers back in action Tuesday night. They're hosting the Toronto Raptors. Philadelphia coming off a 135-127 loss Sunday to the Milwaukee Bucks, and they've dropped 5 of their last 6. Tyrese Maxey had 39 points, Joel Embiid 27 points to go along with 12 rebounds. And the Flyers are off for the midseason break. They return on February 22nd when they host the Edmonton Oilers. Progressive Insurance, bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
South Jersey Gas is your energy efficiency partner, helping you lower your utility bills and use less energy. Conserving energy and saving money has never been more important. However, sometimes it's hard to know where to start. That's where South Jersey Gas Conserve comes in. Conserve is an online resource with energy-saving incentives, easy tips for saving energy and money, and much more. Check out Conserve today and start saving at southjerseygas.com/conserve. Go Birds!
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Our next blast of wintry weather is 24 hours away. Tomorrow evening's commute is going to get progressively messier. Plan your day accordingly tomorrow. Increasing clouds tonight, cold temperatures, low 25. Tomorrow, turning cloudy to start, high 36. Snow arrives in the afternoon, getting heavier tomorrow evening. 4 to 6 inches on the ground by Wednesday morning. Another batch of sloppy weather coming in Wednesday night. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
The 2025 Hercules Tires MAC Basketball Championships are returning to Atlantic City's iconic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall for the 6th consecutive year, March 11th through the 15th, featuring 22 men's and women's teams. The tournament is fun for the family, featuring a band jam, Spirit Squad showcase, Kids Day, and mascot game. Don't miss the chance to be a part of the action to see who will cut down the nets and earn a spot in the big dance. Visit macsports.com/basketball for more information.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
1:40 to go in the second quarter. Second down and 8 for the Eagles. After picking up Mahomes, shotgun snap to Hurts, left tackle block, line drive throw, caught on the 5. A.J. Brown hits the pylon far side. Touchdown, Philadelphia! They are destroying the Chiefs. A 12-yard touchdown run. They cash in on the Mahomes interception. They've done it twice.
Man, Jalen. Man, when you count him out, when the odds are against him, that dude, man, special. Special players make special plays. He thrives in that environment, man. Thrives in that type of pressure, man. He's amazing, man. Jalen's amazing.
That was Jordan Mailata post-game last talking about his quarterback. I'm waiting for the "that's my quarterback" memes to pop up again. It's my quarterback, man. But it really is your quarterback, Philadelphia Eagle fans. Also, Kevin Harlan is heard here on 97.3 ESPN last night. The 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of CIL. As I said before the break, there are 3 men that I know of who said Jalen Hurts could be a franchise quarterback. Myself, CBS Sports Emery Hunt, now he's CBS Sports. 5 years ago, he was just hanging out with me here on the radio. But also the third man in that trio is Andy McNamara, the host of the Sick Podcast at AndyMC81. Andy, my friend, you, me, and Emery, we're like a trio of weaponry.
We're the NWO. Who's the third man? It was me. And we called it, brother. We called it. We called it, and I was talking about it before he was even drafted coming out. And to think that's a second-round pick, it shows more than ever. It depends as much of a landing spot for quarterback than it does about where you're drafted or what position. What an amazing game. And he played fantastic in the last Super Bowl. But what a game, what a matchup for Jalen Hurts, overcoming that first interception too, and being able to lead that team. Well-deserved MVP. And Josh, we're not always right, but when we are, it feels real good. We'll let you know it when we are.
Well, the funny thing about Hurts is Hurts joins a very exclusive list. The one stat is he's one of only 2 quarterbacks in football history that is lost their first Super Bowl and went on to win a second, that being John Elway. He's also on a list with Tom Brady, Joe Montana, as the only. There's one other, and I lost the stats. Somebody messed up my array over here at some point. But there's only a couple quarterbacks who have done this. Their teams have scored 30 or more points in multiple Super Bowls. It's Hurts, it's Brady, it's Montana, and there's one other guy, and that's it. That's the list, Andy McNamara.
Wow. Like, can everybody from Eagles fans to outside analysts, whatever, can we now finally give Jalen Hurts his roses? What Josh and I have been trying to tell you for literally years now, that this guy's the real deal. By the way, Josh, he's only 26 years old. That's what's the scary part. This guy's playing at this level, played at a fantastic level again 2 years ago when they lost, has overcome, has been down. I always say this for young quarterbacks. You come in hot, that's great, but defenses will figure you out. CJ Stroud got figured out to a degree this year. Well, but the great ones, once you get figured out, you then refigure it out, and you come back, and you be great. And that's what Jalen Hurts did, right? They eased him along. Like, Josh, we were saying, this guy, people just want to call him a running quarterback. That is total BS. This guy has a great arm. He was underrated in college coming out and has been his whole career. This is not a Lamar Jackson. This is not a run-only guy. This is a complete weapon, a complete athlete, and he's the MVP. And it feels real good much better for you guys, for Eagles fans, but I take some joy in it as well. It was real nice seeing him beat the Chiefs.
When you think about Hurts now, people are having that conversation. Ryan Clark made the assertion this morning on First Take that if Hurts' name was Eli Manning, we would treat him differently. Like, is that real? Like, do you think that there is a predisposed and anti-bias against this guy because he is Jalen Hurts, and that if we did like a blind resume, people would look at him differently?
I'm still kind of confused as to why he's underrated. To me, I've tried to think about it, and I think maybe he just gets lumped in with being a run-first quarterback, when it's like the mobile quarterback, but he's not. Hello? Like, he isn't. He just isn't. So that's a lazy narrative. If anyone comes on and says that he's a run-first guy, he's only run, he isn't, okay? And he does it in big games. Unlike, let's say, Lamar Jackson, who is a run-first, can put up fancy stats, that's fine, but in the big games falls short. Jalen Hurts excels. And that this team, through these past 3 seasons, Josh, have been up, been down, and overcome. How many teams fall apart? How many teams could have, in early part of this season, where Nick Sirianni was going bananas, yelling at fans and having his kid on his lap in a press conference? If you don't have a strong quarterback, that team could fall apart.
Well, how about Sirianni? How about the credit for Sirianni to turn all of this around, right? Howie Roseman said after the game last night, he's like, we don't win the championship without Sirianni, Howie Roseman says. And Howie's got 2 of these rings now. You know what I mean? So, the Eagles organization, as you know, I've talked about this here on 97.3 ESPN, at AndyMC81 on Twitter X platforms where you find Andy McNamara, the Sick Podcast. Like, subscribe, download, wherever you get your podcasts. Andy, you remember when they fired Doug Peterson, the ridicule this organization went through. Well, they look pretty smart 5 years later, right?
They sure do. And it wasn't that Doug Peterson became a bad coach, in my opinion. It's that something needed to change, right? Sometimes you need a new voice. Sometimes you need a switch. But the Jacksonville didn't quite work out. I still think he's a really good overall head coach. But then you bring in Sirianni. And Josh, I was on your show multiple times when people were clamoring, begging for them to be fired. And what did I say? I said, look, I gave you guys advice as a Browns fan. I said, don't jump ship too quick. Be patient. Ride it out. See what happens. And now you saw that impressive feat, which is rare, where the team believed in him. They had his back, corralled everything together, and they peaked at the right time. Lions might have peaked too early. This team peaked at the exact right time and should have their best game at the Super Bowl, Josh. And you can't ask for anything more than that.
I said before you came on, though, I got two little nuggets for you. To me, number one, I think we should have broken history protocol for the MVP award, and it should have been given to Vic Fangio. The fact that man drew up one of the greatest game plans. I mean, he goes down in history, right? It's Steve Spagnuolo against the Patriots, right? It's the idea of the Patriots, Bill Belichick against the greatest show on turf, right? It's Joe Gibbs starting Doug Williams in the Super Bowl in the late 80s, right? It's all of these historical moments. And Fangio, they got to put that game plan in Canton, man, because he turned Patrick Mahomes into Rex Grossman last night.
Dude, it wasn't an impossibility going in to fathom and see that the Eagles could win. They're a very good team coming in, and it was certainly a possibility. Vegas, the books told you the same. It was almost a pick 'em, 1.5 points, if that. And so it wasn't like, oh, this is some super big upset that no one could have seen coming. But it's the way they happen, and more so, Josh, you could have paid me $1 million to say, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is going to have that type of game. Are you crazy? That was ridiculous. It was so out of character. His worst game. He said after the game, let's give credit to the Chiefs. Class act, okay? Post game, no one's coming out wearing stupid big hats or anything like that. Class act. They took their lumps. Mahomes said he choked, and they moved on. So class act to them. But Josh, they had no answers. He looked like a rookie. That whole offense, Travis Kelce dropping passes. Only one Taylor Swift show on the who missed on the under.
That prop bet hit the under, right? That prop bet.
I had no idea. Hit the under. And to think that with all that, Patrick, with the run game, Josh, it just fell apart. So it's weird because so much credit, I think, to your point, has to go to Fangio, because it's not like Patrick Mahomes had a great regular season. This is his first time doing this. Right? They know what to do to win, and they were de-pantsed in front of the world. So I still can't explain how they fell apart, other than to say, well, Vic Fangio, man, you showed up and showed out against a coach, too, who's had his number.
26 quarterback pressures, 11 QB hits, 6 sacks. The Chiefs had 23 total yards in the first half. And the Philadelphia Eagles are only the 4th defense in Super Bowl history to blitz 0 times, according to NFL Next Gen. I mean, Fangio said, I have the answer. Just let me cook. And he said, we're going after Tooney. We're going after Caliendo. We're going after Jawan Taylor. And we dare you to stop us. And the Chiefs had 0 answers for the 4-man rush all night long. And I don't know whose face is more perplexed last night, if it was Andy Reid or Steve Spagnuolo, but they both looked like they were Sam Darnold. They were seeing ghosts.
They were stunned. And look, Patrick Mahomes, before he finished his drop, had guys in his face. He wasn't scrambling to improv. He was scrambling to survive. And he didn't. And to see what they were able to do, and you said to not blitz. And if you guys remember, isn't that how Tom Brady lost twice to Eli Manning's Giants?
Yeah.
They did the front. They dropped everybody back. Now, is that, if I'm remembering correct, isn't that similar to what the Eagles did the first time with Schwartz to Brady as well? Push and then just drop back and make him throw into coverage.
But the difference is Schwartz gave up 30 points to Brady.
True. Yeah.
Fangio gave up 0 points until they took their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And that's the formula with these guys, because we know if you blitz Mahomes, right? Like it's all these greats, they'll wait. Oh, that guy opened up, dunk. And then that's when you get a Kelce gain for 30 yards or whoever else. But they didn't have to. So you have the 4, everybody drops back. That's the perfect game plan for these type of quarterbacks. Because then You got pressure somehow coming at you with so few guys, and there's nobody open, and that's when you get that game. I'm telling you, Patrick Mahomes, he looked like a scared rookie. It was wild to see. And that stat line, like, the bad thing is, Josh, in like history, people look back 20 years, oh, Mahomes had a decent game. No, you're right. That was all garbage. The only benefactors was anyone who had multiple touchdowns.
Xavier Worthy props, right?
If you had 2+ tutties on Worthy, I don't know what that paid. I didn't have it. I have a D-Hop plus 500 anytime touchdown, so I hit on that. I was happy with that. But, man.
So for those who don't know, Andy McNamara is not just the host of the Sick Podcast. He's not just a fantasy sports expert. He's not just at Andy AMC 81 Twitter platform. He's also a pro wrestling guy through and through.
Yes.
And so I said earlier today, because the Eagles now, they beat Brady 7 years ago. They beat Mahomes last night. The Philadelphia Eagles are to the NFL what Randy Orton was to WWE. They are legend killers, Andy McNamara.
Yes.
Ken, is that a fair analogy that the Eagles, they can't beat anyone ordinary? Remember, the only Randy Orton was, if it's The Undertaker, he can beat him. If it's Triple H, he can beat him.
Yep.
But, if it's Daniel Bryan, he couldn't beat him. So it's like, are the Eagles the Randy Orton of the NFL?
I'm in love with that analogy. That's tremendous. You need to put that out on social. Tag Randy Orton. That's great. Yeah. Randy, if you remember, Randy Orton would go and he would punt the guys. He would punt the legends, Roddy Piper, all that. He would punt him and knock him out cold. All these guys. They punted Tom Brady, and even more so, they punted Patrick Mahomes last night into submission. I love that. Yeah, they are definitely, the Eagles are the legend killers. So I guess the question is, Josh, to coin another wrestling phrase, who's next for Bill Goldberg? Right? Like who's next for this team? Like,
who wants some?
Who wants some? You want some? Come get some. Like, this is and again, what stands out to me is Jalen Hurts is 26 years old, and how he rose with the draft. We talked about it before the last 2 years, but the drafts that Howie Roseman had, like, my goodness, if he doesn't have a statue yet, you got to build him one, maybe two, because the job he did and the people he put in place, good Lord, it's sensational. It's shocking to me that
learning from his mistakes, because if you go back to the 2020 draft, Hurts was the only pick that worked out, and Howie learned from that draft. And now he's had not one, not two, not three, 4 straight drafts where he has knocked it out of the park. I mean, this is a man who, when they had the issue with Josh Huff back in 2016, they immediately cut him, right? And they said, we are going to be an organization of the quality of the men we have in this locker room. And it has resulted in 2 championships, to the point where now, I got to share with you, Andy, Nick Foles has now elevated himself to not just Super Bowl champion, but elite troll. Because he said on social media last night, it's really cool that Tom Brady got to be there for the Eagles' 2 Super Bowl wins. He might be the good luck charm. Have a great night.
What a star. What a star. It's true. It's true. And Brady got to hold on to that GOAT status a little bit longer with Patrick Mahomes club. Nick Foles, what a legend. That's tremendous. Yeah,
and by the way, it is true. Carson Wentz has now watched 2 of his backups win championships, because he saw Nick Foles do it 7 years ago. And Carson Wentz was on the bench last night watching Jalen Hurts, who was his backup at 2020, win a championship. So
wow.
I don't know who's the more of the big good luck charm, if it's Wentz or if it's Brady, but maybe the next time Philadelphia is in a championship, maybe just find a way to get them both in the stadium.
Get them both in there. Wentz is a free agent. Bring him back as a backup.
No, that'll never happen. Never happen.
I'll tell you this, though. I'd rather old Carson than Baby Hands Pickett. I texted you right after. I was like, and just as a reminder, Kenny Pickett still sucks. You got to get rid of him.
Well, you know what's probably going to happen, and I feel pretty comfortable saying this, because Kellen Moore is going to be the next head coach of the Saints.
Yeah.
Mickey Loomis gets on the phone. Hey, Howie, can I get Tanner McKee?
Ooh,
and Howie
that guy earlier, yeah.
And Howie turns around and says, "What you willing to give up for it, big boy?" Right? And then Kellen Moore, he gets Tanner McKee, but they give up a 2nd-round pick, and it's like,
if they get a 2nd-round pick for Tanner McKee,
I don't know if it's a second round pick or not. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, even if it's a third, then like can I just stand in the aura that is Howie Roseman? Like that man is magical. But apparently that doesn't necessarily rub off, Josh, because
no, it doesn't.
Berry of my Browns, if you trained, and I was thinking today, I'm like, you'd think that he's like, you sat with that man every day. You learned nothing. You learn nothing. You go, what is happening?
Well, it's like all the Belichick guys, right? It's like all these Belichick guys who became head coaches. Romeo Crennel, right? Charlie Weiss, Josh McDaniel. Who else am I thinking of?
Patricia.
Matt Patricia, Bill O'Brien, right? I mean, O'Brien's only been good in college. Let's be honest, you know.
And O'Brien had like an okay start to the Houston tenure. He was like the biggest success was him being okay out of the Belichick tree, right? You were okay for a little bit, and that's maybe it's like that. But what a well-run, like I don't need to preach to the choir here, but like I am just so impressed with how well-oiled that machine is, and I'm so jealous because again, you think, man, you're analytical, you were in there, just copy it. Unless he sat Andrew in the corner and didn't show him your stuff. Copy the formula, man.
Nah, he ain't like Vic Fangio. I don't know if you heard that story. People asked Fangio why none of his disciples have ever been as good as him as coordinators. And Fangio revealed earlier in the season that apparently he keeps a lot of his own stuff to himself, and he has his own analytics that he does that he doesn't share with any of his assistants. And the reporters were like, wait, you have a book of analytics that you don't share with anyone? And he's like, yeah, why not?
Man, I guess you just have to really need a job to work with old Vic. You're not going to be learning much. Holy, wow. That's honest.
Andy, before I let you go, because I feel like we could talk for like 10 days about the Super Bowl. Is there a storyline or a topic that we not hit on that you want to hit on before we walk out of here?
From the game. I think it's just the shock. I'm still dumbfounded with how bad the Chiefs' offense was. I'm absolutely floored. I'm also surprised in just how little the running game had on both sides. Less so with the Chiefs because you were down, you had to throw. But Barkley was held in check. And Josh, if I came to you before and said Barkley's going to be held to under 60 yards, be like, bad night for the Eagles. That's another surprising fact. Barkley, I believe, with that game, doesn't he beat
he did break Terrell Davis's record last night.
Yes, for the most combined rushing yards. So everything lined up. I wonder now, the storyline going forward is, of course, you got a bunch of free agents, a few on the defensive line. It's how do you retool? What do you look for in this draft? And how do you keep this thing going? Because you do have some questions. Like Barkley, amazing year. You can't count on that year next year. Like you can't count on 2,000 plus yards. So now it's like, do you try to get a guy coming up or like what's the strategy?
Well, I'll ask you really quick because there's obviously a long list of free agents for the Eagles, like there is with any team, right? But obviously, like for example, I'm anticipating Josh Sweat's gone. Okay, he hired Drew Rosenhaus as his new agent a couple weeks ago. He's gone, right? After that game he had last night, he is out the doorsy, right?
Yeah.
Milton Williams, it'll be interesting because is he a guy that hits the open market and someone overpays for him, and that's why he leaves? Mekhi Becton, right? Becton had the best year of his life with Philadelphia. Does he dare leave for greener financial pastures, but potentially see his career go downhill, right?
Right.
Those are like the three big, because here's the thing. I feel pretty comfortable saying Zach Bond is back next year. The Eagles are going to keep him, okay?
Okay.
I feel like Zach Bond and the Eagles they're kind of like they're in it together at this point. I'm assuming Sweat's gone and maybe Milton Williams as well. So does Philadelphia just go into the draft and say, D lineman, let's just go D lineman for the first 3 picks? You know what I mean?
Look, I'm telling you, Josh, this is a deep draft for defensive tackles and edge rushers. It is a good year to have this potential problem. I do think Williams is going to get overpaid. I think he's going to get good player. Don't get me wrong. I'd like him. But I think this is someone who could leave. But you got a whole bunch of guys, and we can talk close to the draft as well, who some of those late targets. Like there's a clump where you can get them end of the first round and into the second round that I think could be on, especially on this team, rotation or day one starters. So I think, knowing Howie Roseman, how well he drafts, if you see a defensive tackle and or edge guy get drafted, I think this train just keeps on going, man. Just keep chugging.
I mean, it's a shame it's not the NBA because maybe you could do a sign and trade. Like you sign Milton Williams and trade him to Cleveland for Myles Garrett. You know, it's like.
Ooh, okay. I think that. Yeah, the Myles Garrett. Real quick, the Myles Garrett thing. I don't know if he's helping himself or not, going on the on the Super Bowl row and trying to get himself out of town. If I'm the Browns at this point, look, you don't want to be here. Mike Tomlin of the Steelers said, "I want volunteers, not hostages," and I love that saying. I want volunteers, not hostages. So look. You went 11-6 one year with Myles. You went 3-14 another year. Bottom line is you need a damn quarterback. So if trading Myles Garrett helps you get there, you wasted the prime of his career. I still think that whole organization's just run terribly with the grifter up top, Mr. Moneyball. Until that changes, I don't think anything's going to change. But, hey, if you got Myles Garrett, I'd take a couple ones for him. Players, see what happens. Maybe Philly. Come on, come get him.
At AndyMC81 on the Twitter platform, what do you got going with the Sick Podcast this week?
Oh, well, now we make the switch to the draft focus, Josh. And this is where I really sink my teeth into. I got my handwritten notebook for the past 5 years. I got all written. I love it. With the combine, we're post-Senior Bowl, so I got my Senior Bowl notes. So we're going to be diving into it. The good thing is, even if you're not a Browns fan, we need all the positions. So I'm going to be covering all of them. I'm going to be covering from safety all the way to backup running back. So if you are a fan of the draft, and for Eagles fans too, we're going to be getting into defensive players because that's what the Browns need as well. So a lot of draft focus, some free agency talk coming up too. So this is where we really start to dive deep. And that's going to be, next show is going to be coming out Tuesday night.
At AndyMC81 on the Twitter platform, the Sick Podcast is wherever you get your podcasts. Like, subscribe, download, get that thumbs up on there on the YouTube side, right? Yep. Andy, I always appreciate you jumping on, and I'm sure you'll be still in the rotation as the football season never actually stopped. They just stopped playing games.
They stopped playing games. Look, I want to be on with you when we get into the combine talk because that's where we'll really start to juice this thing up, man. I'll say it one more time for the year, Josh. Go Birds!
Go Birds! From a Browns fan.
Hey, I'm living vicariously through you guys. All of you listeners who are Eagles fans, congratulations. You guys deserve it. What a run. Go Jalen Hurts. Love it.
Always appreciate it, my friend.
See you, pal. Bye-bye.
Looking back to the text board coming up on the other side, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Let's talk about it more next on the Power Hour, known as Game Night on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Maxey for three, outside left, bullseye! He puts it in, a crossover dribble on McBride, and he pours in a triple.
It's Sixers Raptors tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
You don't need a President's or Valentine's sale. Get to Matt Blatt Kia and save every day. With over 1,100 new Kias in stock or en route, all with zero down, zero payments until May, even low 1.9% financing for 60 months on 25 Kia Sorento and Sportage SUV. So bring any trade, even if you're buried in a loan or lease. Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released and into your new Matt Blatt Kia, like the all-new 25 K4. Just $129 per month lease with zero security deposit and only $36.95 due. Matt Blatt Kia, your PA and New Jersey Kia superstores in Abington, Egg Harbor Township, and Toms River, or right to your front door.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, $13.89 per thousand finance. Not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Offers can't be combined. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer except for licensing, registration, and taxes through KMF. Rebates and incentives to deal expires 3/4/25. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and on Route 37 in Toms River.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi, my daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through March 21st, get fast, reliable 300 megabit Xfinity internet with unlimited data included and an unlimited mobile line for just $30 a month for 1 year. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless plan and auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity internet required. Reduce mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Breaking news, and this one is almost...
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First and Main, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
We're famous for our buffalo wings. The Piccalilli. When it comes to cooking wings, we're the king. The Piccalilli.
On game day, don't wing it. Take the trip to the Pick, South Jersey's king of the wing. Try their award-winning wings, tails, and ears in mild, spicy, or hot, or signature flavors like garlic parm, hot honey, Jim Beam maple, and more. For eat-in or takeout, get your chicken wing fix on Route 206 at the Piccalilli Inn. Join the flock. Follow them on Facebook for events and game day specials.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Shout out to Coach Vic, man. When he talked about us just winning up front, working up front, and, man, shout out to all the guys next to me, man. All year, man, we just rush and work hard and keep our head down and grind. No better deserving group, and all the glory to God. And, man, city of Philly, this is for y'all, man. Y'all deserve one. I wasn't here at the other one, but I'm here for it now.
Nolan Smith won a national championship at the University of Georgia, and now he wins a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. That audio thanks to NBC Sports Philadelphia and NFL.com. That was Nolan Smith last night. Give credit to everybody. Vic Fangio, the boys up front. Thank God. Thank everybody. This is for you, Philadelphia. Nolan Smith last night. Let's squeeze in some more of your texts before we hit the end of the show. Josh Hennig here in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios on 97.3 ESPN. Dan and EHT chimes in and says, thank you, Bradley Cooper, for spelling Eagles correctly. 2024 Eagles, maybe the greatest team in NFL history. And he says, thank you, Josh, for the great season as well. Well, thank you, Dan and EHT. Justin chimes in from Galloway. Says, man, I love our Eagles, our fans. Go Birds for life, baby. Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni proved everyone wrong. I love our quarterback, our defense. Thank you, God, says Justin in Galloway. Also, we got Jeff from Ocean City. He is on his way back from New Orleans. Says, hey, Josh, we are loud and proud. We booed Taylor Swift. We brought home the W. Live from Bourbon Street on our way back to Ocean City. That's from Jeff in Ocean City, currently down there in New Orleans at the game. Finally, Steven Ventnor. Steve, you got a lot of text in here. I'm trying to find the beginning of the thread here. Says something hasn't been mentioned. Was Pickett coming to the end of audition? I like Pickett plus a first-round pick for Myles Garrett or some deal like that for Max Crosby. You know, I got to tell you, Steve, I don't know if I really don't know if Max Crosby is going to get traded. I feel like the rumors of him being traded for the Raiders is kind of hyper speculation. I think Pete Carroll wants that guy. But the trading of the Eagles' first-round pick is a fascinating idea because you're right. Teams want that fifth-year option for a rookie contract, so maybe the Eagles do trade their first-round pick. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody. Go Birds!
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City. A community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.